Good afternoon, class. I'm going to go over and do a video review with you over Intro 3, Week 1. We talk a lot about in this week's section, we're going to do talking about the eruption of teeth, how our teeth are affected in the development stages, what affects the development of them, and some different anatomy and physiology of what affects the structure of our development of our teeth, okay? So we're gonna start off with what is embryology. So this is the study of prenatal development through the stages before birth. So embryology is stages before birth. Histology is the structure of the body tissues on a microscopic level. So what's the embryonic period that we're looking at? So this is going to begins at the 2nd week to the end of the 8th week. X-rays do not need to be taken during this time. The face and related tissues begin to form during the 4th week of prenatal development within that embryonic period, okay? The first signs of tooth development occur in the anterior front in the mandibular lower region. And this happens when the embryo is about 5 to 6 weeks old. What are some developmental disturbances that can develop during this tooth development? During the prenatal development, genetic factors are going to be the most important, is the size of the teeth and the jaws, okay? Some different environmental factors that are going to affect this are going to be exposure to radiation, any alcohol, any drugs that are taken during pregnancy. The drugs taken during pregnancy can also cause birth defects, and tetragens are going to cause adverse environmental influences. What is endodontia? This is the absence of a single or multiple teeth. Your supernumerary teeth, this is when you have extra teeth. Instead of the 32 that we're supposed to have, it's going to cause a lot of crowding. That just means that you have extra teeth. Macrodontia just means they're abnormally large teeth than what you would normally see. And there's different life cycles of the tooth. The different growth periods are going to be the bud stage, the cap stage, and the bell stage. The bud stage, this is going to be your initial stage, and this is going to be the buds of the third molars are going to form at approximately 5 years of age. The bell stage, this is going to be the stage when cells differentiate and become specialized in the process called histodifferentiation. Make sure that you know that, the bell stage. It is in your notes if you want to go through and highlight that as we're going along too. Your succidious teeth, these are your permanent teeth that are going to replace your primary teeth or your baby teeth. They begin to develop as early as 24 weeks. The eruption of your primary teeth, this is the movement of the teeth into its functional position into the cavity. The crown of your teeth, this is going to be, in the crown you have the dentin that is covered by the enamel. So you have your crown here, your dentin, your cementin on the outside, and then the pulp will be in here. Of course, this is a diseased pulp because they're going to have a root canal. They're going to lose that tooth probably. So on this next one, you see where they went in and done a post and core and put in gutta percha in there to take that diseased pulp out of there. Let's see, the periodontal ligament. This is what connects the cementum of the tooth to the alveolar bone. So this is out here, your alveolar bone here is going to be your alveolar bone, okay? So then you have that periodontal ligament, which is going to be right, this part right here. Oops, sorry, this part right here that runs along, that kind of pink looking spot. I know it's probably hard to see on the camera there. The enamel makes up the atomic crown of the tooth. The dentin is going to make the portion of the tooth structure, and it extends the entire length of the tooth. So make sure that you remember that. And the pulp is that intersection here. Remember when we were looking on here, this is going to be the pulp on the inside where all that black stuff is right there. So it extends almost the entire length of the teeth. That's a diseased one. It doesn't normally look like that. It should be pink and healthy if it's if it's a normal, healthy pulp, but that one is not. It's a disease pulp. The pulp is made up of blood vessels and nerves that enter the pulp chamber through the apical foramen. Make sure you know that for your test. The periodontum is what supports the teeth within the alveolar bone in the process. And then we're going to talk about different anatomy of the face and neck. So make sure that you know that the human skull is divided into the cranium and the face consists of 14 different bones. In the skull, you'll need to know the sphenoid bones from the anterior part of the base of the skull. The mandible is the largest and strongest and the only movable bone of the face, okay? That's your jaw, lower part of your jaw. The hinge is the first face of the mouth opening and the movement of the temporomandibular joint, so the TMJ. Your hyoid bone suspends between the mandible and the larynx. And then you got your zygomatic bones. These are going to form the prominence of your cheeks. There'll be your cheekbones here. The mentalis is the muscles that help us form our facial expressions. It makes the wrinkles around the skin of the chin and pushes up the lower lip. And the muscles of of mastication, which is chewing, these are formed by the first brachial arch. Your parotid forms your salivary glands, and it empties into the mouth through the Stenson duct, and it's located just below the front of each of your ears. And then you've got your submandibular salivary glands. These lie just beneath the mandible and the submandibular mucosa, okay? The different types of saliva are going to have serous saliva, and this is going to be mainly of protein fluid. And then you got your mucus saliva, which is going to be your thick, kind of carbohydrate-filled saliva. All right, class, if you have any questions, please make sure to message me either on Remind or through Google Classroom. And good luck on your test.